Hello there. Happy Draw Mohammed Day. I, of course, had to draw a couple of drawings. They're kind of dumb, and you really have to excuse the accent because I have no idea how to do a Mid-Eastern accent. But anyway, there's a great story after the pictures, so just live through this. It won't last long. There's 5 pictures. Okay, can you see them? Let's see. Come, dear wifey, let's cuddle. What's this puffiness underneath your burqa? What in the name of Allah is this?
It's a ballet tutu.
What? Why?
You told me to do the ballet.
No, I told you to do the belly like this. Boom, da boom, with the hips. Boom, boom. Oh, here, just take this bucket and spoon in your burqa and go play in the sand. I put water in it so you can make mud pies. And don't try to dig to the other side of the earth. The last time you tried that, it was a failure, and you know you will just fall all the way through. The earth is flat. I have to watch her every minute. I don't want to be accused of child neglect. Okay, that was really dumb, huh? I told you. Okay, so here's the story. This is where I got the inspiration for that great little cartoon thing, whatever you call that. I was about maybe around 23, and my parents had driven me out to Keystone in Colorado. It's a ski resort, but it's an all-year resort, and I didn't have a car, and it turns out the dorms weren't open yet, so they dropped me off at a hotel, and that's where I was staying. Well, what does a girl from Detroit do when you go out and you're faced with those huge, beautiful, majestic mountains, and you're all by yourself? Of course, you hitchhike 72 miles down to Denver to go to the mall. So that's what I did. I went down to the mall and walked around. I couldn't buy anything. I had no money. So on the way back, I hitchhiked a ride, and it was with 3 guys from the Middle East. And, you know, for me to get in the car with any 3 guys, it doesn't matter if they're from the Middle East or where, any 3 guys was really stupid, but I was so naive. And I got in the car. And it wasn't long before the guy in the back seat was trying to make some moves on me. And he never did kiss me, by the way, but he tried, and I kept saying, no. And I was like, just get me out of this car, please. Just get me out of this car. It's like, I can catch another ride. I hitchhike with somebody else. And they'd say, no, that's okay. He'd be like, oh, I'll leave you alone. That's okay. We'll be good. So we kept going. And I kept asking to go over to the side. And at one point, we went over to the side of the road. And a couple of the guys got out. And I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe they're going to let me out. But then it's like we all got out. So then I thought, well, either they're going to drag me off in the woods or we're going to all go pee or something. I just didn't know what was going on. Well, they got out a camera. And 2 of the guys were like, this is our American girlfriend. And so I'm actually smiling. I'm out there posing with them, you know, smiling for the camera. And it was really funny. And so somewhere around the Middle East, somewhere over there in some country, I don't remember where they were from, there's pictures of me with these 2 guys. I'm the American girlfriend. So we got back in the car and we drove a little further, and I kept telling them, it's 72 miles up. You've got to go up into the mountains. It's a long trip. Please, you can just let me off. And of course they wouldn't. The guy in the front was actually really cute. He kept turning around smiling, and I thought, you know, the situation would be a little different if he was in the back seat, but it wasn't him, so I just kept resisting. And after a while they stopped the car again, and we got out, and 2 of them looked under the hood because the car was having some problems. And of course I knew what the problem was. It has to do with a high altitude. Your back then, unfortunately, I can't remember what it is. I think it was the carburetor. There was something where it had to be tuned up for the high altitude. And at the time I knew, and I told them, and they didn't listen to me, and they were just checking under the hood. The other guy was like, he said to me, do the belly. And I was like, what? And we're standing out there on, it's either I-80 or I-70, the expressway that goes up to the mountains, and he's like, do the belly. And all of a sudden, I was like, I didn't want to say I didn't know how to do belly dancing, and I realized that I had jokingly said something about doing ballet in the car. He said, do you dance? And I said, Well, I took Ballet 101, and I actually did in college, and I was horrible. And so I didn't want, and he just kept saying, do the belly. And I didn't want to admit I didn't know how to belly dance, and I was horrible at ballet. So I was just like, no, that's okay. No, I'm not going to do it. He started like doing the, and he kept going, come on. And I mean, I would dance. I don't think I got room here to, because he kept doing that, you know, like back and forth like this on the expressway. And I was just like, oh, I'm mortified. But anyway, we got back in the car and kept driving for a while. And they started getting cranky because it was this long drive. And I started getting worried because I thought, what's going to happen after I get there? What am I going to do? What are they going to expect out of me? You know, I really didn't know how I was going to get rid of them or anything. But I thought at this point I'd better just get myself up there since they're not going to let me out. So I kept saying, it's just a little further, it's just a little further. And we went over, oh gosh, we went through some tunnel and then over, I think it was Arapahoe Basin. And finally the car was just sputtering and everything. And we come into Silverthorne, which is where my hotel was. I came into the town and the car was just about to die. So they stopped at a nearby gas station and I could see my hotel. And it was not too far, maybe 2 football fields, you know. And so they all got out of the car and they all went under the hood. And I just pulled open the door really, really fast. And I just jumped out of the car and ran. I was just running as fast as I could and I wouldn't even look back. I was so scared they were chasing me. And I thought, what am I going to do if they're chasing me? What if they catch me? What if they follow me into the hotel? And I ran and I ran. And I made it to the hotel and I ran through well, I actually walked fast through the lobby. I was trying to not cause a commotion. And went up the elevator and I went up to my floor and I looked out the window and all 3 of them were still looking under the hood of the car. They hadn't even followed me. I was actually disappointed. It was like, well, what an insult. They didn't care enough for me to even follow me. So I just waited in my room for a couple hours until I knew that they had gone back down the mountain, and then I went off and had fun. So that's kind of my inspiration for this Mohammed Day video anyway. Glad I could share that story with somebody.